In January of 2011, I made the decision to get out of a very toxic relationship. A relationship I'd been in for over 40 years. This wasn't easy. I had to look at this person every day. I lived with them 24/7. This toxic relationship wasn't with someone else. It was with myself, and it was time to leave. I discovered that I had not been what God intended me to be. I found myself sabotaging my dreams and goals from my toxic self-talk. I found myself saying I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart enough. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent, Eleanor Roosevelt. The bully said it once. I said it thousands of times. I was my own worst enemy. So how do you go from bullied to bold? I'm going to expose a myth, share 3 gifts I got to unwrap on this journey out of this toxic relationship, and share a couple of stories. But wait, let me take you back to high school. I haven't always looked like this. I used to look like that. I actually started gaining weight when I was 6 years old. And by the time I was a senior in high school, I weighed about 213 pounds. I was a target. I was made fun of. I was the brunt of many jokes. I was laughed at in the classroom by the kids in the classroom from degrading remarks by teachers. I was bullied. I often said, why was I made this way? Why couldn't I look like the popular girls? At times I was numb. It even made me eat more. Are some of you having memories come up, remembering times that maybe you were made fun of or bullied? In 1971, I began to lose the weight physically, and I have kept it off. And then in 2011, at a coaching event, during a coaching process, I began to release, or I did release, the emotional weight of the fat girl. Do y'all realize I held on to those toxic words? That toxic self-talk was going on for 40 years. After I got home from that event, I took this picture. And I asked my husband to sit down because I wanted to tell him what was going on, what had happened to me, that I'd been able to let go of something that I didn't even realize I'd been holding on to. I knew I had that toxic self-talk, but I didn't realize what it was doing to me. And so I remember it so well. We sat down at the dining room table, and I took that picture, and I tore it up. And I put it in a bowl, and I lit a match, which probably shouldn't burn it here on this stage. But anyway, I told him, that is no longer me. Since then, it's been a daily process of paying attention to my thoughts and my words that I speak to myself, and learning to love the person I see in the mirror. And from being bullied by myself and others, there are lessons I've learned. And I see those lessons as gifts I got to unwrap. And so I'm going to expose a myth. And the myth is, words don't matter. And the truth is, words do matter. And so the first gift is understanding words matter to others. And obviously they do. It was obvious to me when I was bullied. Sadly, in trying to pretend that words don't matter, I used sarcasm as a defense mechanism, and I became the bully. It's been said that hurt people hurt people. And like the 160,000 children who stay home from school every day for fear of being bullied, I dreaded what the other kids and the teachers would say to me. And the saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words hurt, and they hurt deeply. Such as Ellie, short for elephant. Fatty, fatty, 2x4. Oh, and in my yearbook, two different guys wrote two different things. The first one, to biggin and only. And the other one, to the coolest fat girl I've ever known. Now, there's something positive there. I may have been fat, but I was a cool fat. Okay? So the first gift I got to unwrap was that to understand words matter to others. The second gift is to understand words matter to self. I would find myself saying, "You are so stupid. Those clothes make you look fat. You will never be a success as a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur." And then I realized, be careful what you say because you are listening. And I decided it was time to stop listening to that bully in my head. So the first two gifts is to understand words matter to others and to understand words matter to self. And the third gift is to understand words matter to God. Ancient words tell us that we were known before we were even in the womb, that we're a masterpiece, and that we are made in the image of our Creator. And yet it hit me one day how critical I had been of this beautiful gift from my Creator. I was criticizing. I was complaining about my body, about my face, about my brain. How dare any of us, but how dare I complain and I be critical of this beautiful gift that I have been given, that we all have been given. I discovered that those words were harming me emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And I decided that it was time to start saying loving words to myself. It was time to step into my purpose and my mission. A preacher's wife, a coach, and an author. So the three gifts are to understand words matter to others, understand words matter to self, and to understand words matter to God. And understanding that words matter to others, I want to share a couple of facts and then a story. Are you aware that words lead to negative outcomes? And one of those outcomes is suicide. You know, that could have been me. It could have been you, or it could be someone you care about. And yet, many adults believe that bullying is just part of being a kid. And yet, according to the CDC, suicide is the third leading cause of death among young people. There's a school that decided to do an experiment. They took 2 plants. They wanted the students to see the impact of words on others. The students were to speak negatively to the first plant. Plus, there was a non-stop recording of verbal abuse for that plant. The other plant, they were to speak positively. Plus, there was a non-stop recording of kind words. Can you guess what happened? According to one student, the plant that was bullied died. If that can happen to a plant, can you imagine what it could do to a human? And in understanding words matter to self, I want to share a story. I had the privilege of speaking to some students and teachers at a private school, and I decided to try an exercise with them that I do with my coaching clients. It's really simple, and you can do it too. I gave each student, ages kindergarten to high school, and the teachers a mirror. And I asked them to look into the mirror and say, "I love you," and then speak their name. It was so much fun to see the reaction. They smiled, they giggled. The teachers could not believe the difference it made. Something so simple. I've actually had my clients tell me that they have cried when they have done this exercise. For me, it helped me to be empowered. And I began to feel more bold. And I began to love the person I saw in the mirror. Now when I look in the mirror, I show gratitude. I say, "Thank you for this body that you made me, you gave me. Thank you for making me this way. Thank you for my face, my brain, my spiky hair." So I've chosen gratitude over criticism. And in understanding words matter to God, I had a mentor ask me, "If you lost everything you criticized, what would you pay to get it back? $1 million? Her statement, her question made me realize that I am priceless, and so are you. So tonight, after you look in the mirror and you say, "I love you," what if you pick up the phone and call someone you love? Because words matter. Thank you.